Islam is a way of life, a way of
Guide Us TV, watched by many, loved Muslims, young Muslims, born Muslims, non-Muslims, all enjoy it. Guide Us TV, let's keep it free, no ads. Support and share, and get guided with Guide Us TV. Guide Us TV, watched by many, loved by all, new Muslims, young Muslims, born Muslims, non-Muslims, all enjoy it. Guide Us TV, never ads, always. And we're coming to you almost live all the way from our studios here in Southern California. I say most likely, I'm going to say almost live. However, tonight we really are live. And we have a guest with us tonight, and I'm sure you're familiar with him. You just saw him on the Guide Us TV. That was done, I think that was in the pier in the background. I think we were in Southern California. Were we? Is that right?
We were in San Diego. I remember that.
San Diego, California.
Where in the world is Carmen San? We were in San Diego, mashallah, at the 619 pier. We were there, and it was way back. That was my first trip to California. I remember we did that.
That was before we had Guide Us TV?
No. This was within the first year of it, though. Like, I think, what was it, 2010? December of 2010?
Yes.
It launched, I remember.
Yeah.
This was like July of 2011, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love California, man. California is one of my favorite places to be, mashallah.
Well, we're in Southern California right now, in San Bernardino, California, a matter of fact. So, alhamdulillah bil alameen. I talked to you on the phone today about something that was kind of private, but I'm going to make it public right now because I want everybody to know this. I don't want it to become as a horrific surprise or anything like that, but we've been broadcasting for 13 years. And I've already given notice to the satellite company that we're not going to be able to go forward. We decided this last month, right? After we realized that the organizations that sponsored us, that helped us in the past, they're not able to do it anymore because they're really strapped for money. They've been sending money over to help the problems in Gaza with the health problems and the food problems and all of the other problems that they have. And I support it. And we wanted to donate something ourselves, but we're not able to. So anyway, the big thing is that we're going to have to go off the air. And we're still going to make videos, and we're going to still put them out. But if we're not able to raise the funding by the end of the year, we're going to go off. They're going to take us off anyway, because we owe them about $18,000, and that's not much for television these days. That's like one ad for the Super Bowl. No, a Super Bowl ad is in the
million.
Yeah.
You might pay that much to get to see the ad yourself. You pay for tickets to the Super Bowl. Yeah. Wow.
I should have said a basketball game or something like that.
Yeah, maybe it's tickets to that.
Yeah. But
the Super Bowl is just a big place to have punch, isn't it? Isn't that where you drink punch out of a big Super Bowl? No, is that not it? Sorry. Bowls and cups. I don't know that. You got Stanley Cups. You got Super Bowls. You got the world. What is it? Plate. This horse racers. They run for plates. You know, gosh, you got the golden spoon. You're supposed to be born. The silver spoon you're born with when you're born. I guess you're wealthy if you're born with a silver spoon. Yeah, chase all these utensils. May Allah have mercy on us.
Well,
We're gonna be.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna get back to what you're talking about. The sad news of Guidance TV having to go off the air. I tried to sidebar a bit so I could process my thoughts on the issue, and it's not a good thing. Well, may Allah make it a benefit, however we can, and however.
Yeah, if by some miracle that Allah grants us the ability to keep going, I'm going to be making so much dua for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for the ones who donate. But even if we are not able to go on, I've still got to raise the money to pay them, because it's not right in Islam to make an agreement and then not pay them. So these people have worked with us and helped us so much, and I really don't like to do that to them, and that's why we told them up front that we probably were going to be able to meet the amount we owe, but we're not going to be able to continue. So yeah, and now we don't even have the funding to do what we owe because of what happened in whatever, it's because of Allah. We have to say that. We have to say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is responsible for everything. He is the only source of whatever happens. So guys, I love you all for the sake of Allah, and we are going to try to continue this program through the month of December, but after December, it looks like we're going to be off the air. So if anybody out there has an idea or has funding or has a partial funding, we need the $18,000 so that we can pay off our debt. But anything over that, we'll be able to continue. So it's up to you guys. I don't like to say that because I don't want to turn it into fundraising, and I'm very much against the fundraising for anything personal. But this is not personal. This is really the only programs that we have for the Muslims here in the United States and Canada. And other people have tried it over the years, and they have found that it's very difficult to have the content and stay on the air. And we've been managing, and we have MacGyver with this.
Brother, mashallah. MashaAllah. Jazakallah khair. We were talking about nicknames earlier, and how when you come on the road with Guidance TV, you get a nickname. We didn't institute that. Well, I instituted that. It's kind of a barbaric hazing process that I have.
What about Dr. Bass?
Dr. Bass. That was Mutahar Sabri. He was Dr. Bass. Jazakallah khair. Special brother. Very, very special brother.
Well, wait a minute. What was your nickname?
I don't know. I didn't have any.
You were giving out the nicknames, but you didn't have one. Oh, man. I didn't even catch that.
Y'all had lots of names to call me anyway. I don't know. Nicknames. I think there were a few names that I was called over the years.
Yeah. I've been called a lot of names.
I used to feel burning in the back of my neck every now and then. I knew y'all was talking about me.
Okay, well, I did want to start it out with something else, but I felt obligated to our viewers and for our supporters to let you know that we're still having our 5,500 websites. We still have that, and we're still maintaining that, and that's a separate organization that we have. But it's not involved. We keep the funding different so that that it's not just all in one thing. So otherwise, we would have a crash, you know. So and would all lose it all. But anyway, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen.
Alhamdulillah.
So if somebody knows a way that we could stay on the air, I would love it, because we've been on the air for 13 straight years, regardless of what some of the other people that came along and tried to Johnny come lately and they said, oh, we're the only ones, and then they were not on for a couple months.
Well, a long time.
But anyway, yeah.
We're still here in the atmosphere, Sheikh. We're still here, alhamdulillah.
Still here in
I'll be here until the end anyway. I'll be here until the end of December. Whatever happens after that, I'll still probably be here. MashaAllah.
Well, you know
I'm
what?
here as long as you'll put up with me.
Talking about funding, I think the American public is now more aware of how we stand in our taxation, because we are really paying a lot of taxes. And then when we realize that it's all going for weapons to kill people, then we didn't like that. We spent last year $2.24, not million, not billion, trillion dollars, $2.25 trillion on weapons. And yeah, and where did most of them wind up?
Oh, they,
you know.
Tell us the answer, Sheikh. Where do you think where did they end up?
Yeah. Anyway, so we had a program that lined up for tonight, and we were going to talk about why does the West really hate Islam? Why is the West at war with Islam? In England right now, we're seeing things that we never thought that they would happen, and they're putting down right now, kicking people out of their positions, Muslims, all the Muslims. And in the United States, we had a brother named Hassan. He was doing really, really strong stuff as far as getting to the bottom of the incidences that were taking place and calling people out, Muslims and non-Muslims. But he was doing a really hot job, and they kicked him out. They just, phew. So I don't know, but one of the things that I think we have a record. I got this off the internet, so if anybody wants to know where we got it from, that was published. It's facts. So the weapons, set that aside, because there is another $321 billion spent on illegal drugs. Prostitution, $280 billion, illegal prostitution. $212 billion on human trafficking. Again. And then liquor. This $197 billion, almost $200 billion on liquor. And then $110 billion in gambling. and then gold. And I don't know why we decided to put that up, but it's $106 billion in gold. I don't know what that is. And then games. This is the games that are played that are not really approved by Islam. Is $54 billion. $54 billion. All total, it's $3.5 trillion. I'll put that up there so you can see it. This is just my handwriting, but $3.5 trillion. It's over that.
It's a lot.
Yeah. It's,
you know, a fun fact I learned about a billion is if people don't understand what a billion is, if you were to earn a salary of $30,000 a year, $30,000 a year, and you didn't spend any of that $30,000 and you worked for 50,000 years, you would manage to save $1 billion.
How many years?
Is that right? Is it $50,000? No, $50,000 a year for 20,000 years. Excuse me, $50,000 a year for 20,000 years. That would get you one of those billions.
Well, the idea behind good,
that's it.
The people that really follow Christianity and the people that really follow the Old Testament and the Last Testament, the Quran, they find that they're always going to be at oppositions with the political side somewhere.
Sure.
Yeah, because weapons, whether or not they're weapons of mass destruction or not, they're destructive weapons. And
sure.
This is against all of our religions. Why you need to attack somebody? And then the drug industry, $320 billion, $321 billion on drugs, illegal drugs. This is in the United States, only in the United States. Prostitution in the United States, $280 billion. And then human trafficking, $212 billion. Liquor, almost $200 billion. Gambling, $110 billion just in the U.S. And I don't know why we have the gold in the games, but that is bringing it up.
Islam, when we say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, we now actively start removing. Now, not to say that Muslims don't do these things, but in general, we're not supposed to. And this is one of the reasons why, I mean, Islam isn't at war with anyone. They seem to be at war with us because we have a problem with almost virtually all of those industries. I mean, we know of a brother in the 60s who didn't want to go to Vietnam. He was a heavyweight champion of the world. And that was Muhammad Ali, rahmatullah alayhi. And this has been something that we've had a problem with since, and he was in the nation at the time. So he was still learning about Islam, but it still gave him the wherewithal to say no and not go ahead and fight people that hadn't done anything to him. But because of that, like today, he lost everything. He lost his championship of the world. He lost the ability to box, and people took his licenses away. They almost put him in jail. He was reduced to basically, a common citizen. And Allah rectified his affairs, of course, and we see the end of his life. And this is where we have to remember that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Amrun ajab, amrun mu'min. The affairs of the believers are ajib. Ajib in Arabic is like astonishing. Ajib, this is ajib.
Yeah.
Why? Because when we're...
Talk a little bit about Muhammad Ali. Do you know that he was really big on the dawah?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I downloaded actually a bunch of his old matches. I think I have almost all of them except for 10 of them. I'm missing 10 of them. And I've organized them, and I've just been on a history kick when it comes to Islam in America. And I've been listening to a lot of Malcolm X stuff and a lot of Muhammad Ali stuff, rahmatullah alayhima. May Allah bless them both and honor them both. And these are people that were, in terms of America, pioneers over here in the Dawah. And his whole thing was to share Islam, and Islam is a peaceful solution to the problems that are occurring. But it's not just a turn the other cheek, sing and sing solution. It's an active solution that puts the control of the creation in terms of communicating with the Creator. So Allah wants to communicate with us, and He has given us Islam to do that. Now we can go along with what Allah has revealed, or we can try to figure it out ourselves. But figuring out ourselves hasn't worked out very well for us, as you can see by those numbers. We spend more on getting high than we do on reaching the most high, and that's really unfortunate.
I like the way that you said that. You spend a lot of money on getting high, on drugs, and not focusing on getting the most high.
What did they used to say? Faith is the opioid of the masses. Sure, but it's a lot cheaper than the real one. For sure. I mean, my goodness. You can learn about Allah for free, not for profit. You don't got to spend no $212 billion to learn about Allah. MashaAllah. If you find out what Allah wants from you, you'll realize it's not that much at all. It's not that much at all. Drug takes a toll on your system. Heroin takes a toll. Cocaine, whether it's alcohol. All of these things take a huge, massive, soul-stealing toll on your system. Soul scarring, actually. And when we take that away, when we say, and of course, not just take it away in terms of snatch it. We have programs in Islam, and we know about intoxication and substance abuse in Islam, and we know how to deal with that. But once it's dealt with, then that money goes back to where it belongs, and that's the people. That is us. Imagine someone doesn't have to spend that money on drugs anymore. They can spend it on food and education and so on and so forth. That goes back to them. Imagine they don't have to spend money on a 6-pack anymore, or a 12-pack, or a 40-ounce, or whatever it is. They can now, give their families something to eat healthy instead of that. We don't have to spend a whole lot of money on games. Call of Duty isn't going to take you from your Call of Duty. You're going to be up for your salah and your fasting and so on and so forth. And it's going to be more than a fortnight. It's going to be for the rest of your life, inshallah.
Well, I want to go back to Muhammad Ali, if we can.
We can certainly go back to him.
Yeah, I love his style.
The champ.
The champ.
The champ.
Yeah.
But just think about it this way. The champ, if you think about all that he went through, in his life, rahmatullah alayhi, he's coming up, and he's Cassius Marcellus Clay early on, and he's boxing in the Olympics. And I have his gold medal match. I have it on my computer, and his interview and his gold medal match where he wins the gold medal, and you listen to him talk about the kind of name that Cassius Marcellus Clay is in Kentucky, and the kind of name that is. Apparently he was Cassius Marcellus Clay the 6th, according to what he had said. And then he goes on, of course, to win 1 match, 2 matches, 3, 4, 5, 10, 12. And he's calling them. He's saying, I'm going to win this. And, he won't be. Archie Moore will be a gone in 4, kind of thing like that. And he would call the rounds. And he did that for more than 10 of his matches. And then all of a sudden, Allah's gifting this man. He wins the championship of the world. And he shook up the world. And he's a bad man. He's so pretty. And mashallah. And there's something about that voice to me, that the way he says things, you just have to like him, even if you might not like what he's saying. And there are people that hated the champ. I personally love him, rahmatullah alayhi. Then he goes on to defend that belt once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. He's into like 28-0 or something. 28, 29-0, somewhere around there. 29 wins and no loss. And then guess what? He gets drafted. He gets drafted to go to a country where nobody is fighting him at all. Nobody has any racist issues with him at all. And he's supposed to now throw away everything and go fight for that. And mashallah, the champ, he stood ground on his La ilaha illallah. And at the time, of course, he didn't know the full extent of that, but Allah hears anyway. And Allah grounded the champ and kept him firm on what he had. And then, of course, he came back to win the heavyweight championship of the world twice, 2 more times, and retired in 1981, and then actually embraced Islam. And you see the dawah work that he's done ever since then. And now he doesn't have to worry about these things, these Parkinson's issues and people taking belts away. You know, they can't take your crown away in the Jannah. No one takes it away. Once Allah gives you your crown in the Jannah, no one can take it off. No one can take it from you. Alhamdulillah. Once you get your championship in Jannah, you know, no one can take it from you. And that's the difference, Sheikh, between chasing a belt and chasing a championship. You can chase a belt. Anybody can wear a belt. Any guy with a buck, any Bilal with a buck can buy a belt. MashaAllah. But the championship, that's in the Jannah. Gold and silver will not deliver. Jannah is where we properly get our rewards. And we have to remember that when we see these things and we see these issues coming ahead of us and people losing their positions in terms of why they say the things and standing up for Gaza and so on and so forth. Muhammad Ali stood up for himself, stood up for his rights as to not go to war, for his rights not to go and hurt people. And because of that, he was persecuted. Because of that, he lost everything. But because of that, Allah kept him strong. And because of that, Allah rectified his deeds for him, as he says in the Quran, after we say, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا. O you who believe, have taqwa for Allah, have consciousness for Allah, mindfulness of Allah, fear and hope of Allah, and say that which is correct and straight and to the point. What happens? يُصْلِحْ لَكُمْ أَعْمَالَكُمْ. Allah will rectify your deeds for you. وَيَغْفِرْ لَكُمْ ذُنُوبَكُمْ. And forgive you of your sins. وَمَن يُطِعِ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ فَقَدْ فَازَ فَوْزًا عَظِيمًا. And whomsoever has obeyed Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam has achieved the highest success that one could possibly hope to achieve. Better than being the heavyweight champion of the world. Better than being the best programmer of the world, better than being the best speaker of the world, better than being the president of anywhere in the world. This is Jannah. Whomsoever has obeyed Muhammad, Allah and His Messenger ﷺ, has achieved the highest success that one could possibly hope to achieve. And may Allah have mercy on the champ, because inshallah we want to meet up with him in the Jannah, maybe have a little workout if that's possible. You know, we can spar with the champ, inshallah. No one's gonna get hurt though, because it's Jannah, right? So you're not gonna get hurt. So you can go work out with the champ a little bit. But understand that this life is incredibly short. The champ is no longer with us. Muhammad Ali is no longer with us, has been gone from us for many years now. Yet we're still talking about him, and hopefully he's gonna get some ajr behind this discussion.
Well, talking about what has dawah, I wanted to talk about that because one of the things he would do is get up to some people at the masjid and he'd say, let's go do dawah. And it was in Chicago. And then they would go out with him and maybe they didn't even know what to expect. But then all of a sudden he's out there, you know, and people are coming up to him and saying, oh, it's the champ. Oh, can I have your autograph? And that's the one thing that people used to do. Now they take pictures. But at that time, he would pull out a paper and then he would write his autograph on it and then hand it to them. And then they would keep that pamphlet. It was a pamphlet. And guess what it was about? It said Muhammad on it. But when they open it up, they find out about Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the Prophet of Islam. MashaAllah, MashaAllah. That's one of the things that he did. Did you know that?
I did. He had a pamphlet, do you know this man Muhammad? And people, you know, he would sign it and it would be about the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He was a force to be reckoned with, MashaAllah, in terms of dawah. And really, you know, opened a lot of people's eyes and a lot of people's hearts to to even the name of Allah at first, because we know that in the Nation of Islam, they don't really have Islam in that. And that's what he was, but they still say Allah, and they still have that. So Allah guided him, and of course in 1981, as we know, he entered into Islam, and as you said, was passing out pamphlets, and a lot of people's lives were changed because of the example of the champ. MashaAllah, may Allah have mercy on him.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept from him his courage and his evidence that he presented to the people, and accept all of his good things and forgive any mistakes. Ameen. Ameen.
Amen. Amen.
So it's time for us to take a little break here, and so I think we should do that, and we'll be right back right after this. So stay tuned and stay guided for
Guidance TV.
for the remainder of the month anyway. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Guidance TV, watched by many, loved by all. New Muslims, young Muslims, born Muslims, non-Muslims, all enjoy it. Guidance TV, never ads, always free. Let's keep it free, no ads. Support and share, and get guided with Guidance TV. Guidance TV, watched by many, loved by all. New Muslims, young Muslims, born Muslims, non-Muslims, all enjoy it. Guidance TV, never ads, always free. Let's keep it free, no ads.
A way of life, a way of life, a way of life, a way of life. Islam is a way of life, a complete way.
And we are back, MashaAllah ta'ala. If you would like to help us pay off that debt, and maybe, and I was talking to Abu Hafsa in this, in the break, maybe somebody will step up and help us do this. But I don't know how, because everything is directed toward helping the folks in Gaza, and I don't want to interfere with that at all. But if anybody has an idea, tell me so that we could save Guidance TV. I would love to have it stay on the broadcasting for the prisons especially. We are in so many prisons in the United States, and it's all a free broadcast, otherwise they wouldn't do it. But the inmates are coming to Islam right and left and right and left. And when I first started as a chaplain in over 30 years ago, as a chaplain, I was really surprised to note that 2.5% of all of the inmates were Muslims.
Yeah.
The vast majority, over 70%, were African Americans. But that changed over a period of time. Then it became 68%, and then 65%. And as more and more other people got involved, and it was always I shudder to think that this would be a situation that we have, but we do have. So anyway, let's get back to this. The idea of broadcasting in these prisons has helped. Now, in some of the prisons, it is 10% of the population that are Muslims. Some of them have 13%, and one, we were told, has 17% of the Muslims there. Now, that is really a high percentage of Muslims, and most of them accepted Islam on the inside. And then when they go out, they don't come back. But many of the ones that go out that are not Muslims, they come right back in a few months' time. So I think that I don't want anything from governments. That always leads to a problem. But I would like for somebody to realize that this is a really beneficial thing for the people that are on the inside. And also, this includes hospitals. Imam Dramali, when he was in the hospital, he had gone into a coma, and they didn't think that he was going to live. And he was in a coma. It didn't move, didn't just stay there. And his wife took care of him and would come in and wash his feet and wash everything that she could and try to help. But all of a sudden, they kept the television on in the room of the hospital. And it was on Guidus TV. And one day, he just came back to life, and he said, I've got to pray, I've got to pray. And they said, whoa, they were amazed. Look at this man, he's came out of a coma, and he's talking. And then he said, no, I have to pray, I have to make wudu, I got to pray. And he was saying to pray Asr, because something that was on the television said about prayer and Asr, and then he tuned into that and came back to life. And that was a big deal for me. And then when I learned about this, I was so amazed. And then he was there in Texas. And so I went to his house and after he got out of the hospital, and visited with him and his wife, and they were so nice to us and kind. And he actually helped us go on the road, and in Texas anyway, he raised funds and awareness so that people would know exactly what it was. And now, since then, he's moved on to Florida. I think he's in Florida right now. Anyway,
I remember him from Dallas. He's a very nice man, mashallah. From himself up here.
Mashallah. You met him, right?
Yeah, we met a few times. We worked in, we were in Dallas together with him. And I remember it snowed. It was interesting because it was the only day where it snowed. But I remember meeting Sheikh Dramali there. So Allah khair. Remember that was January and they had a snowstorm. I remember in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Mashing up the place. I'm thinking, my goodness, Canadians get more snow than this in our dreams. And you smashing up the roads here. And the next day it was all gone.
I found a picture of the Imam, and here's what he looked like in the hospital. This is Imam Ibrahim Dramali. Yeah. That he was really a big influence on us, and he is still a big influence on a lot of people, and we appreciate him so much.
MashaAllah. He's in Florida.
Yeah.
Florida is blessed, a bit more blessed because of that. Jazakumullah khair. Florida got someone pretty cool, I would say. Sheikh, mashallah.
MashaAllah.
Oh, take care of him. Take care. If you're listening in Florida and you know the Sheikh, go and take care of him. Give him some love from us. Jazakumullah khair.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That is a good idea. If you're in Florida right now and you know Imam Dramali, Dr. Dramali, please let him know that we appreciated him so much, and we'd were happy to be a part of him being brought back, as it were. They had given up on him at the hospital. They said that he was going to die, and there. So, but he didn't. He fooled
That reminds me of
everybody.
his sister. One sister came to me in Toronto, and she was visiting Toronto from the country of Cambodia. And while she was in Toronto, she had taken her Shahada, and she was, visiting Toronto, and she had this terrible car accident. And during this car accident, they had to remove her skull from her brain in order to stop it from swelling. So when she woke up again, she had no memory of anything. She had no memory at all, and she had to learn everything again. But the same sisters that came to her the first time and gave her Islam came to her, visit her in the hospital, and she was allowed and permitted to take her Shahada again. And I thought how incredible that is if Allah guides you twice to Islam. Allah guides you once, and we think of that, and then something happens to someone, and Allah, for whatever reason, tests them and still doesn't break connection with them, even though they've forgotten everything else in the world. And then when Islam is represented to them again, they, by the permission of Allah, or this sister, was allowed to re-enter Islam again. She could have been, her memory could have been gone, and she could have went any way that she wanted to go. But Islam is destined for her twice. And I always refer to her as a sister who Allah guided twice, because I remember hearing about that story.
Yeah, there's another sister that was a part of our starting up in Chicago. She came all the way from Texas with her husband, and she was very much involved in helping us get started. And her name is Sister Nicole. And I think we have a picture of her somewhere. Yeah. Let's see if I can put that up there. Well, it's not much of a picture. Well, maybe it is. That's Sister Nicole. Oh, I didn't put it up. This is Sister.
Well, I'll just say mashallah for the sister herself in general.
Yeah. Anyway.
Alhamdulillah, they're all behind veils to me anyways, man. Alhamdulillah, but I don't see them all.
There are so many that have come to Islam recently, just in the last month. So much that we've run out of Qurans, and we've got more Qurans, and we're running out again, and we got more, and we now have over 5,000 different Qurans in different places. So if somebody orders the Quran in Ohio area, we have somebody there. In Michigan area, we have somebody there. In Florida, we have somebody there. And the volunteers, they're helping out with the postage, helping out with the distribution, and all of them are really doing a lot of stuff. And Tony Blair's sister-in-law came to Islam. Did you know that?
I did know that. I worked a few programs with her in the UK.
Huh?
I worked a few programs with her when I was in the UK, I believe.
Oh, Lauren Booth.
Yeah, I remember her.
Yes.
I
was standing on the stage when she made Shahada.
No, mashallah.
I didn't give Shahada to her, but I was standing right there, and I heard her. And she had an outfit made up. She made up her own outfit and I never saw it again, but it looked like she was trying to be warm from outside, She just wrapped up. And she said, I want to accept Islam. Alhamdulillah. And since then, that was 16, 17 years ago, I guess. Maybe longer.
I was there in 2011. We had met then. I think that's when we had met. I did a FOSIS tour. I know you know what the FOSIS tours are when he's over there.
The what?
the tours when they send you on like 3 weeks or 4 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. You do those, mashallah. You'll know yourself after that one. That's. I remember we did like 25 lectures in 21 days or something. It was great. Tour. I lost my voice somewhere along the way. I don't know what happened to that. Those were great. But I met her on that tour, and then one of those. She was really cool. We met in London. Jazakallah khair. May Allah guide us all and help us. Yeah, she's the sister-in-law of Tony Blair. Yes, indeed. That's right.
Many sisters have come to Islam, and when I was first in Islam, my wife would have 4 ladies who accepted Islam to my one man, 4 ladies. That's it averaged out. And now it's more that like 2 men is going to be like 15 ladies coming into Islam.
So
2 men, 15. So I don't know what the current numbers are right now, but that was before this thing took place in Aqsa, Gaza, yeah.
May Allah help us there and all the places that we're going through it. May Allah help us. This is the thing, and then when we remember, وَإِذْ أَصَابَتْكُمْ مُصِيبَةٌ قَالُوا إِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ. When they're afflicted with something and tried and tested with something, and they say that to Allah we belong and to Allah we will return. An interesting thing happens when people say that. Do you know what happens after that?
What?
أُولَٰئِكَ عَلَيْهِمْ صَلَوَاتٌ مِّن رَبِّهِمْ. You know, when we send salat and salam on Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, we're asking Allah to bless him and ask Allah to send peace and blessings on him. When we remember that inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, to Allah we belong and to Allah we shall return, Allah sends those salawat on us and mercy on us, and He calls the people who say that, those are the guided people. So may Allah allow us all to be guided and to remind us that, you know, sometimes things will happen in Gaza that are terribly unspeakable and bad, but everything returns back to Allah, and Allah is not a referee. Allah is a judge. So when it comes to the referees, that's us. That's our job. We're supposed to step in and say that this is wrong. We're supposed to step in and say hands off Gaza. We're supposed to step in and not go to war in Vietnam. We're supposed to step in and say La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. That's what a referee does. But sometimes people don't listen to the referee. And that's why we have an ultimate and just judge. And everything and everyone, the good, the bad, the small, the short, and the tall, all will go wall to wall, back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator of all.
Actually, you know what I'm thinking about is the people that have made Shahada here on Guide Us TV.
Oh yeah, there's been a lot of them. Didn't the sister make Shahada on Guide Us TV, the one you mentioned earlier, Nicole?
Oh, I don't even remember.
Or did she just make it with y'all? I'm not sure if she made it on Guide Us TV or not.
I think she had made her Shahada prior to that.
Oh, mashallah.
I have some pictures here. Would you like to see them?
You can try. You can try.
Yeah.
The audience at home might like to see them.
There you go.
There you go. He's from Texas. We got to work with him a little bit slow, y'all.
This is one of the brothers that accepted Islam in Texas. I was in Texas, and he accepted Islam. And then we have another one here. Let's see if we can put that up here. Yeah. Oh, he made his Shahada on Guide Us TV.
MashaAllah.
Yeah, here's the brother that made his Shahada on Guide Us TV.
Who's the brother who used to do the Bible? Richard.
Oh, Richard, yeah.
I never heard about him. I mean, I know he was on the air for a minute, and I'm not sure now, but I think he took a shot on Guys TV, you know?
I don't think so. I
No.
think,
I'm 0 for 2 on the night. MashaAllah.
but so many people have expressed their interest in Islam and then gone out to their local masjid or
Sure.
mosque, and then they have one of them. I remember one. He called in and he wanted to make the shahada, and he did, but he said that he was 100 miles away or 90 miles from the closest city. He was in the middle of I think Arkansas somewhere, and yeah, and I stayed in touch with him so long, and helped him to get to a masjid to pray and make his shahada and so on. You know what? The first time that we ever had a live call-in, we had a sister call in, the very first phone call. That was in April of 2011. And when she called in, she said, I want to make shahada. And I said, whoa. I thought it was a setup, man. Why this?
MashaAllah.
Whoa. And she explained that she had been watching us since we came on in late December. She had got a new dish that, we're on maybe this is the last month that we're going to be on.
32.5 and 42.4, and they had all these different, was that the antennas?
Yeah.
Remember those?
Anyway, she
Wow.
said they were trying to get us focused on it, and she said they wound up on Guidus TV. And she started watching it, and she said by a couple months she was ready, and she didn't know how to do the shahada. She lived out in the country, and so she saw that when we put up the phone number, she called it right away, the 800 number, and she called it right away. And she said, I want to make shahada. And I said, oh my gosh, whoa. The first call that we get is somebody that wanted to enter in Islam.
Sure.
So since then, she has been a real helper for us and volunteered with us. And we went to her house one time. We visited after they moved. And mashallah, met her husband. They're wonderful people. Wonderful people.
And the sister from, where was she from? Kim.
Oh, Kim. Sister Kim. Oh, yeah. Yes. She drove all the way. She drove all the way from South Dakota over to Minnesota.
MashaAllah.
Minneapolis, Minnesota. And we joked about that. We said, where are the apples in Minneapolis? Many apples?
Oh, anyway, I know. I heard you.
That's corny.
I heard you. Oh.
And if you go to the next level, yeah.
Corny, but
where are the many sodas? We didn't see any free sodas.
Many sodas in Minneapolis. You know, those puns that you're dropping, they're a bit corny, but they're well produced.
Well, what?
Well produced.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly right. It's exactly the reaction I thought.
There's another one. This is a picture of me in front of the skyline there in California, Los Angeles. We were there last night, and alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. We
had a good group in Rosita. Remember we was in Rosita, California? That was a great group that was there in LA.
Yeah.
We did a lot of stuff, Sheikh, over the years. MashaAllah. May Allah accept each and every one of it and purify it and fix it and make it so that it stands out on our Qiyamah.
Alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Went all over for me anyway, from here. I remember calling you on a Monday morning or a Tuesday and being on an airplane to Denver on that, or Phoenix on that upcoming Thursday. And that was a need to do something, and it was just, mashallah, it ended up happening that way. We did some really cool things over the years with very little, but the help of Allah, which, I mean, if you have the help of Allah, you don't really need much else.
Yeah, we've had some famous people on our show as well. We've had Dr. Zakir Naik. Let's see if we can put him up there. And yes, Dr. Zakir Naik has been on our shows, and he's furnished us with a lot of programming. And also Huda TV has sacrificed a lot for our efforts. But I can't go to any of them and ask for more right now, because this is, they're all in critical shape. They're all in, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen for everything. This is the one attitude that has helped a lot of people see Islam. When we're at our worst, we are at our best. When the worst happens to the Muslims, if they're true believers, if they're really believers in Allah, that's when you see them at their very best. Because the Muslims do not revenge. They don't get into the revenge area, or they don't get into the area of cursing people. They say, Alhamdulillah, inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un, hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. And we say that because we really believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We believe that God Almighty will intervene, if not in this life, in the next life. And the people, regardless, I was talking to the people last night in a live program that we did, and I mentioned the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ. He said, amazing, ajib. He started out with that, is the ahwal of the believers, the condition of the believers, because he said that if anything good comes their way, they have a good testing. You know, they're tested with wealth, or they're tested with, and it's all called a test, by the way. All of our life is called a test, whether it's good or bad. And the believers are always on top of it, because if anything good comes their way, they're thankful to Allah. And if anything difficult comes to them, any difficulties come to them, then they are always repentant to Allah, and it's always good for them. And this is only in the case of the believers.
You have to have sabr when something, patience when a
sabr. Yes, sabr. That's the word. I was trying to remember the word sabr, because that is patience. And guess what? We run out of time.
Oh, mashallah.
Any last words for us?
Well, I guess it was great to reminisce, and it was sad to hear about that. But inshallah, we have the next few days and the next few weeks to kind of hopefully rally, and whatever Allah has decided for us, we'll be grateful and patient with that. I'm here with you, Sheikh, until and the audience, if they want to support Guidance TV, there's of course ways to do that, and I'm sure you'll tell us how.
Yeah. By the way, go to dawapartners.com, because you can still be a Dawah partner with us. We have 5,500 websites for Islam. So just stay tuned and stay guided with Guidance TV. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. So let's take this opportunity to roll out. Assalamu alaikum.